Hey guys, in the last video on this 2005 John Deere L110 lawn tractor, gave everything a quick look over and found a few items that we needed to take care of. Let's get to work and fix some of the issues we found. Thanks for watching. The new tires come with some different size washers, a new E-clip, there's a grease zerk on the back side, and the tire fill valve will be out on the front. This machine has a dust cap. We've got to commence to come off of there without ripping it up. There we go. I think we're going to throw a jack onto the front end of this. Just pop it up in the air a little bit so we're not fighting with things. That sounds like a good, decent plan. The new hose came with a hydraulic jack, so we may as well use it here. Now, I'm pretty sure this isn't a very old tire. As you can see here, the nubs aren't even worn off of it. We'll be definitely keeping this one as a spare. Grab some towels, we'll wipe all that off, get it cleaned up. We've got the grease gun. Let's give it just a little bit. And while we're here, give the kingpin a good shot of grease. Take our nice heavy washer, it's a filler, and we put on the E-clip. That has our axle well greased. We've got our kingpin greased, our axle greased. We do want to wipe up any excess grease that there is kicking around though, because lawnmowers are inherently operated in dusty conditions, and grease and dust like each other very much. Give our dust cap a good little wipe. There we are. That's one side done. I'm going to do the other side off camera. You guys don't need to watch that. Repeat of what we just did. We got a couple more little jobs we want to do to this before we try it out. Checking on the deck belt on this one, because there's a kind of a lever clutch. Everything seems to be decent. There's a lot of crap in there, but I don't have a compressor set up right now, so we can't really blow that off. I can see we got some peeling paint. Probably should fix that up at some point. Not today. We've got the front wheels changed, both sides. Just ran out of grease in the grease gun as that second wheel filled up. Next item on the list, getting this thing dialed in. You can see the high-class seat cover that I've got here. This seat has definitely seen better days. I ordered in a cover with the intention of putting it on the Yardman seat. As you can see, the Yardman seat is definitely seen better days, but it is the appropriate color for the John Deere machine, so why don't we put it on this one? I'll throw a link to this down in the description. One thing I will warn you about if you do decide to order one of these covers in is the difference between this and the top of the box is, there's no distance. And if you use a sharp utility knife, you're liable to put a slice in your nice new seat cover. Fits on there not too bad. It's got a couple little pouches in the back, zippered pocket. Definitely covers up the cracks. Makes it look a little better. I don't know how waterproof it is. If this sits out in the rain a little bit, it's liable to end up saturated and not a whole lot better off than if you just had the seat sitting out in the rain. Next item on the list I'd like to do is an oil change on this. I don't know when the last time this machine had an oil change. In recent years, I would have been the one that did it. I don't recall doing it. There's a good possibility that this thing needs an oil change. I do need to get a filter for it, and I'm not sure what filter that is at the local auto parts store. Anyways, we'll take a picture of that with the cell phone, and we'll go get a jug of oil and a new filter. I'll bring you guys back when I get back, and we'll swap this out. The trip to the parts store was a bit of a mixed bag. The good news is I got Shell Rotella 1540. It was even reasonably priced. The bad news is the only filter they had that would fit is a Fram. Now this is supposedly one of the better Frams. I don't know much about Fram other than they're pretty much a good way to get yelled at in the comment section in a video. So feel free to open up. In all honesty, I'll probably see if I can get a different filter once parts stores are back open. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday in a small town, and there's really only one place that sells auto parts that's still open. Anyways, continue on. Let's drain some oil out of this thing, and we'll throw a fresh filter on it. First step, we'll give this a nice little wipe down, worst of the grunge off of there. It would be nice if I had a can of brake clean, but that's still over at the other garage. We've got a 1 gallon or 1 US gallon jug. It's actually iced tea jug, but it'll do good to catch the oil if that plug will come off of there. And there we go. Now, probably should have warmed this thing up a little bit. Make the oil flow out of there a bit faster, but oh well. That John Deere filter doesn't want to come off of there. Now, of course, I don't have a filter wrench handy. Hopefully these channel locks will do a decent enough job. Holy man. Ooh. Give everything a good wipe down, make sure there's no grunge down in the base. Take a little bit of used oil, wet down the O-ring so that it seals good. Now if this filter went on the right side up so that we could pre-fill it, that would be nice, but unfortunately we're kind of stuck putting it on the way it is. Now before I forget about it, I'm going to run in the house, grab a Sharpie marker, I'm going to write the date and number of hours on that oil filter so that we know what it is the next time we check the oil. June 10th, 23, and what were we for hours? to 36 hours. There we go. Always a good idea to make sure that you get dates and hours or miles written on your oil filter so you know when they were done last, especially if you've got lots of them to keep track of. As the last of the oil drains out of this thing, I figured I'd pop the top off the air filter housing, and I can see it's a good thing that I did. Pre-filter has definitely seen better days. Filter itself, though, doesn't look like it's too bad. Get this pre-filter off without doing any damage to it. Yeah, we knocked the worst of the dust out of that. Now, normally I would blow that off. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, I don't have a compressor here yet. But that will do for now. We'll give this pre-filter a good wiping before we put it back in. Lots of dust. We'll put the air filter back on. It certainly wouldn't break my heart to get a new one for that at some point in the not too distant future. I think we can safely say that's just about it. There's not much more than a trickle coming out of there now. Put that cap back on. That's our first one. Let's see how we're doing for level. And it's all over the dipstick. Looks to me like we still need to add a little bit. I'm going to let this sit for a couple of minutes. The fill tube and dipstick tube are the same thing, so there's a bunch of residual oil up and down inside of there. We'll let it run down into the engine for a couple of minutes. That way when we check the oil level, we're not picking up a bunch of the residual stuff that's just inside the tube. Well, that definitely seemed to help. We're about midpoint, so we need to add a little bit more. I do happen to have another jug of it. We definitely don't need this whole jug. Let that run down for a couple more minutes now, and then we'll check our level again. And we are right just a hair above full. Now you guys are sitting on top of the flywheel, so definitely we're going to have to move you. And then we'll see if this thing will start up, and we'll check the oil again. Clutch brake in. Might help if we put the choke on. Okay, I'm going to say we're down at the add again. Well, let's dump a little more in. If we drop it down real quick, it doesn't pick up all the oil from the tube. Likewise, if we pull it out real quick, I think we're right around the full mark. Hard to tell. Yeah, right in that area. What do you figure? Should we take this thing for a little ride? I don't know how well filming is going to work, but we'll give this a try. Well guys, so far this thing is a far better machine than that Yardman that I was using the last couple of times I cut my grass. Very much appreciate my father passing this down to me after he got his new Aaron's zero turn, and we'll take good care of this thing going forward, and hopefully it'll do us many years. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Appreciate taking the time to watch the video. Give me one of those thumb up things if you got this far, and hey, if you like what you see and you haven't already done so, why don't you subscribe to the channel, maybe ring that bell icon. Catch you guys in the next mess.